slime balls need to be done over in our crafting building. I'm gonna grab more chicken. I really don't need this feather. Oh, how are we doing? Are we holding steady between 62 and 64? We are. So remember, when it gets to 64, our lunium turns on. So if we go, it's going to be really hard to go above that right now. The lunium I won't need to run forever. I do like getting the stuff and things. I'm still waiting for one more rune. I don't remember what color it is I need, but I'm waiting for one more rune. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked, guys. Over here. Slime balls are made from cactus in an alchemy catalyst. So I think we're just going to branch off of here and make the same sort of setup. We might not need the green one. We're gonna need an hourglass and some redstone and red string container and a funnel and a spark, and I think we're gonna need a cube. But right here is going to be the red string container, and it should be pointing to the hopper. Yes. Funnel. Item frame. Hourglass. And then back here, we'll just do what we did with this one, and we'll connect right here. Do I need a crystal cube? I think I do. Woohoo. And we'll put slime balls in there. Let's go get some. Oh, do I have? I do. I don't have cactus. Get cactus. Zero slime balls, and we need to put the slime balls over here. And so now this says there's one, and we just need a timer. We'll do 2 seconds. I think that's what I've been doing for these. And this should make, yep, there's cactus going into the alchemy catalyst, making slime balls. Has this been upgraded so that it can hold? No. What is this set for? 7. That should be okay. That's like a stack, isn't it? Yeah. Should be fine. So there we are, with slime balls are done. That means we can make the Rune of Summer with everything that we have. crafting, we can make the Rune of Summer. The Rune of Summer is got an earth rune with it, I think, so it's over there. Yep. I really need to do these other pixel art. Yes, yes, I need to do the Sins pixel art. Woo. But here's summer. This is where we'll be doing the summer rune, and I don't have enough resources. I'm pretty certain I don't have enough resources to, definitely not funnels, to set that up right now and do the resource check. So I will probably do that this afternoon. Yeah. But I was playing in my creative world and I wanted to show you what I was doing there. So we'll probably switch over to that world. It doesn't take nearly as long to load. Anyway. And we'll let this, we'll come back to this. I believe it was you, Hubri, who mentioned about the Dreadthorn only kills one animal at a time in the last stream. And I went, aha, and actually just thought about that for a little bit. So I made a cow farm. And this cow farm, I don't know how to scale it, if it just means I'm going to have a whole bunch of these pads. But this farm keeps this many amount of cows all the time. And it's got some redstone down here that I will go through. But yeah, and it's using a mechanic I have not used in Botania before, which is this guy in the middle. Excuse me, this fun guy in the middle. This is the Eye of the Ancients. But the Eye of the Ancients counts how many animals it sees in a range of 6 blocks around it. So that's where the fence line is. And the formula is n+1 equals the redstone signal. So if there's 2 animals, it gives out a redstone signal of 3, for example, because it's 2 + 1. But I'm going to need to be able to scale this up, and that's where I can't figure out. Because the Dreadthorn's range is very large, and there's no way to make it smaller. And I don't want to kill off more of my stock than I want. But the way this works is when the Eye of the Ancients counts more than the number of animals it's supposed to keep on hand, and it counts all of them. So we have to wait until these animals breed to get another one. When it goes over the amount that the Eye of Ancients is happy with, it turns off the redstone signal on the Dreadthorn, because the Dreadthorn is redstone controllable, which the Dreadthorn will then kill animals. We might actually get to see it here. See, because they're going to breed. There we go. So, killed off a few animals, and then the redstone signal turns back on, so the Dreadthorn's no longer active. And again, the Eye of the Ancients will continue to count the animals in the range, and when it reaches a certain amount again, it does, you know, like right now we don't have a whole lot of adult animals because the Dreadthorn only kills adults, so that's a good thing. But I just don't know how to make this any bigger. The redstone that runs it is down here. I just have a redstone comparator attached to the Eye of the Ancients because it gives off a comparator signal. And have it maxed out. So it's not even turning on until it gets to 14 animals, because it's 14 plus 1 equals a single strength 15. And yeah, that's what I have here. I have no idea how to make this any bigger. I don't know if there's a way. This is nice for small amounts, but if I want to be feeding my Gormarilla steak, I'm gonna need a lot more. And I wish there was a way to speed up the animal growth in Botania. I know there isn't, but I wish there was a way to get the baby animals sped up. Has Lucid Love Quark's dropped item feeding enabled? I'm not certain. I don't think so. Was that a thing in 112? Let's get a couple. What happens when I do this? Do they pick them up? Would I see sparkles if they did? Oh, only for breeding? I'm doing just fine with this for... The polydesiac works just fine for Botania breeding. Grow, little ones. So the problem still remains. How do I make this bigger? How do I just need to make multiple ones of these? And this seems like a heck of a large space that's not being used. The Eye of the Ancients here is looking in this whole area, so I don't know what to do. I don't know if I should... Well, that wouldn't matter then. I was just trying to think if I put the breeding elsewhere... breeding elsewhere and then move the babies so that they grow up. Well, I wouldn't need to, if I did that, if I did them, split them up separately, I don't think I would need to use the Eye of the Ancients to count animals, because just Dreadthorns only kill adult animals, so I don't have to worry about the babies dying. And I wanted to use the Eye of the Ancients. I have no idea what other use the Eye of the Ancients would have. And my whole point with this playthrough was to play with things I've never played with. What do I mean by bigger? I want to have way more animals to slaughter at a time. Because if I'm feeding a Gormarillis, I'm going to need a lot more than 2 or 3 steak a minute. And hi, Gator Mix. So yeah, I want a large amount, and while this is nice, it keeps a certain amount in here. This is a huge area, and I just don't know. So that's our thought for this. We need to figure out how to make this larger. And it probably does just mean relocating putting the breeding outside of the killing zone. And this fenced in area is 1, 2, move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is also the range of the Dreadthorn. The Dreadthorn is 13 by 13 by 13. That's huge, right? So any adult animals in that area will get slaughtered. How many breeding pairs would I need to have to, for example, keep up with 10 Gormarillus? Granted, I do need to switch to a different food as well, but how do we figure that out? Because that was one of my problems with Season 1 World, was that I kept running out of food, so I had to keep turning the Gormarillus off, which is then wasted time that the Gormarillus is just sitting there. And since they die, and they're not cheap to make, that was just really not efficient. So I need to make sure that I'm producing enough food so that they can continuously run. Or as close to continuously as possible. And I suppose something I could figure out how to incorporate would be the frame tinkerer. And I have to learn about the frame tinkerer. So we'll use a regular item frame. So what I could have it do, and I have to learn. If it works by the mechanic that I'm thinking. Okay, so that does work in the mechanic that I was thinking. Which means it would also work with the animated torch. If we had that's not what I want. I want you. So much stuff in my inventory that I am afraid to get rid of. Thank you for the bits. I appreciate it. Where did the steak go? That was floating there. Okay, wait. So it's not mana that can turn that, it's just the hourglass? Maybe? Nope, there we go. So what I would want to do is rotate, right? Because that'll go all the way around. Random. No, see, toggle isn't what I want. I thought rotate was what I wanted. Now it's not working. What? Color me confused. I threw the book away. I thought there was more than just one option for triggering the animated torch. I thought it was more than just the redstone. Yeah, mana burst. Okay. So the torch really isn't what we want, because we want it to just flip that and not like toggle, because this will be used in our Gormorillus for toggling which food item at which food item is being served. So much garbage in my inventory. But here's the reason I'm trying to figure this out is because if I can do a resource check and go, hey, there's not enough pork chops to give to the Gormorillus, so we need to switch it. Why didn't that switch? Hello? What? Now I have 2 of the Lexicas. Let's do... Change with 1 in a random nearby item frame. They're pushable with pistons. Hey, homeless one, it's going. So I don't think this is gonna do what I want it to. It's currently not. I don't know why it's not. Arg. Why you no work? Is it picky about where the redstone is coming from? Well, if you're going to be that unreliable, I'm not going to use you. I don't get it. I give up on you. Goodbye. So that won't work. How come it's a different color? Because it's a different tinkerer. It's a frame tinkerer. Yeah, I figured that wouldn't work there. But I'm wondering if it really is super duper random. One is a pork chop and one was a beef. Well, that's making noise. That is the first time I've heard that. Okay, so maybe it's just not, it needs to be in front of it or behind it or something? Because now it's doing what I need it to do. So, if that, what I can do then is send a redstone signal to the Tinkerer when I'm out of pork chops in this example and need to switch to steak. Like, oh, I don't have enough pork chops to feed the Gormarillas pork chops, so we're gonna feed it steak. Now I have to make sure that the two foods I feed them aren't the same, so we'll have to make sure we do that. I guess it's unofficial kitty love time. Hermes has climbed into my lap. So let's see. Goal then for a animal farm is to have a centralized killing chamber then and separate breeding chambers. And let's see. Yeah, and it's, I believe, even more finicky in newer versions. I believe the more variety it gets, the more efficient it gets. So in 1.12, 2 is plenty for it to, you alternate back and forth for it to get efficiency. But I think in newer versions, it's at least 3. You need to be rotating. You can do 2. And this is in the newer versions, right, Hubry? Yeah. So we're not in that version yet. I just only, I'm aware that it was changed. I'm not actually aware in a lot of the changes of Botania between 1.12 and newer versions. I've not played with it, so I've not read the book. But my question here is, this piece of steak is just sitting on top of the Tinker. If I walk by it, I will pick it up. Does that mean it will despawn? It would seem kind of dumb if it did. It'd be pretty useless if it did. So I would definitely need a Solagnolia in the area. Oh, but see, that doesn't prevent just a player from picking up. It just prevents the magnets. I'd have to be careful where this sits then. The other problem I foresee is in the Lexica, it said random item frame. Okay. So does that mean it'll pick either one of these? Yep. So I wonder what the range is. We're gonna see if it'll do 1, 2, 3. So nearby, I think, is within the range of it. That noise is going to be annoying when it switches. But it's not going to that one, so that is too far away. This is where the other ones are, is in this block space. So one further is too far. So that's at least good to know. But if I were to put two like this and have them be for two different Gormies, that's not what I want. Where'd the steak go? The steak despawned. Well, that's a flaw. I would have to switch them every just under 5 minutes in order to keep that from happening. It would be required. Otherwise, I would lose the item in the frame tinker. That's frustrating. Sorry, I'm just kind of frustrated about that. Okay. So that will despawn now at some point. Shouldn't it be every time it goes into frame? Maybe? Where else could it have gone? I didn't pick it up, or it would be in my inventory. And yeah, that's what I would assume too, which is why I said it would need to go into, I would need to do the swap at least every just under 5 minutes to keep the item from despawning. But you're right. If this guy goes away, we'll know that it despawns, you know, this way. But yeah, I don't know. Okay, so massive animal farms means massive amounts of animals, and I've already got a world that takes forever to load, so this is going to be frustrating. The other thing I should figure out then is, because I haven't even gotten into needing the wool for the spectral lotus, because that's going to need a bunch of sheep. Frustrating. Can we just say extra frustrating? So this tiny little farm is working just fine. It's making a little bit of food and leather. Not nearly enough to keep probably even one Gormorylus going consistently. So I don't know what to do. It was fun playing with the Eye of the Ancients, but I'm not sure. You probably could re-dye them. There is the lens, but it's a random. So I'm not sure how consistent I'd be able to keep up on wool. This one, right? No, that one. I don't think I have any sheep anywhere, but that won't stop me from getting some. I threw my fences away. Oops. Well, what the? Okay. What does the sheep one look like? That one. Okay, it's got a paint slinger lens on it. Why isn't it? Oh, clearly I don't understand this lens. I've never used it, so... Does it require... oh, it needs to be dyed. So I bet the rainbow... But does that mean I need 16 paint slinger lenses? Yeah. So the paint slinger needs to be it needs to be dyed. Alright, so there's that. Is there a way to change these without... Okay, is there a way to take lenses off automatically and put them on? That's what I'd like to know. Can we do that with a prism? Is there a way to... Spreaders work with hoppers. Right, well that'll take it off. How can I put a lens on a spreader automatically? Is there a way to do that? Would the hopper on top? And if that's the case, so if we did that and they are considered a one-slot inventory. Okay, so cool. We need to get the dye then, and let's just grab a couple. I do not have crafting, fingers tripping over everything. So if we do you're purple, and let's get some more. And we'll do green dye. Okay. So what I need to do is lock the hopper, lock both hoppers, because otherwise they just fall right through. Okay. So I'm sure there's a way to do this. That's definitely a challenge of something that would be different than season 1. Season 1, I just had a bunch of sheeps already all colored, and just harvested their wool. This would be a unique way of doing that. I don't know how well it would keep up. I do only plan on running one Spectral Lotus. Okay. Good to know. Let's that should have... That should have turned one of them green, right? And what I do notice is that the painted ones do not trigger the Drum of the Gathering. So... Eat. Are any of you green? Yes. Okay. How many does it change? Does it change just one each time it strikes? Here's a question. Since hoppers work with mana spreaders, does Corporea? Can we put a... you can't request a random paint slinger lens though. Okay. I mean, I like the idea of this because it would mean I would need less sheep. But I'm trying to think about a way. So we would keep a resource check for all of the colors of wool. And I would only want to like do the paint slinger for the specific paint color when we're running low on a certain color. You think? Or is this too much work? Like, would we need to just do 16 bays of sheep and have them already colored? My other thought is, I have a bunch of string from my mob farm that is still going. We're turning it into carpet, and we're turning it into white wool. And we're using it for string. Do we have enough just to use it for changing colors with the Spectral Lotus? Do you know what? I'm thinking of something crazy. And this is definitely crazy. Definitely crazy. So let's grab this stuff again. Think about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I'm not going to color these, but the ones but these would essentially be one for each color. Okay, and then I don't have a lot of patience for people who feel like they're downloading from the cosmos. You know, just like that's how it came out. Okay, great. Now let's make it better. But you know, just writing from a place of understanding rather than from a place of fear. With wool inside them. So they would place the wool, dye the wool, and we're thinking just white wool right now. And then we'd need to collect the wool, and the way we could do that is with another spreader. Here, for example, with a weight lens on it. Okay, and then down here would be half slabs, torches, whatever. And so our sheep factory over here would just be one color. And we would just place wool, which I guess we don't need to use dispensers for that. We could use carpus. Make it more Botania, less Quark. Anyway. And have all the colors. It don't have to be in a line either. This is just to think. Force relay to break the wool. It's true, I don't have to use weight lenses. I could use I don't even have to use force relays. I would just need to do a bore lens for that and go this way. It would break 6. So we'd have to make this smaller, of course. So pretend this is the white wool that we'd be placing here. And then we'd trigger the coloring. And then we'd trigger the harvesting. And that would control the colors. Yeah, Borlands can only go 6. But that's a way we could do it. Yeah, so I'd need to make 3 rows. Spread it out a little bit. But I'm just trying to decide if that's a fun way to do it. It would be different. What I wish I could figure out, and I might still be able to figure this out. Might still be able to figure this out. Okay. It's along the same line, but it would be So we'd place the white wool. It's too long, but I was like, piston tape, push the wool to the end. Weight lens just is on a cycle above it that just triggers, and each time a wool falls in the area, it gets dropped, and it just happens to be in the right order for the spectral lotus. So the piston would just push it down, it would drop the right color, down, drop the right color, down, drop the right color, and it would just until there was no more here. I'd have to use I would probably have to use an hourglass with a counter to know how many I've done, to then trigger the place again. So that could be an insane fun way of doing the spectral lotus. What's the range of the spectral lotus? Oh, the pickup range for it. It doesn't, oh, 3x3x3. That's not a huge range, so it really does need to be dropped relatively on top. Okay. So that could be a fun way of doing it too. Think about it. How would we do that? Because this really does sound fun, and I believe it would require less sheep. Because if all of the sheep are dropping just white wool, and where you've got white wool being made from string from our mob farm, we wouldn't need as many sheep. But I'm just trying to think of the piston push method. It would need to know when I reached the end and it was doing ready to do white wool again. And I think the only way I could probably do that is with a counter. And oh, we haven't done counters since our failed spruce farm over here. With this. So this was triggering the mana spreader to count the hourglass, to do an hourglass count. And when the hourglass flipped over, when it had finished its count, is when it sent another redstone signal out of it, which turned off the count, yeah. That's how we had that. So if we did a certain line, our length of wool dropping was a certain length. It can't be the full length because pistons can only push 15 blocks and there are 16 colors. So we'd have to do them next to each other or something. We'll figure that out. Next to them, across, whatever. We'd figure it out. And so then each time the weight lens triggered, it would also cause the count to flip, and so would count each wool, and when it got to a certain number, it would trigger the paint slingers to change the paint again. We probably need to pause the wool still pushing 2. Boy, that sounds complicated. Do I want to do something complicated? That sounds really complicated. That does mean, like, at the end of the row, we would just need... It wouldn't be this long again. This is just for visualizing. We'd have a piston and maybe a petite Rhenincarpus on top of... like that. So it's only concerned about placing wool there. We do it a little further away. That's happier for me. Because then we could do some redstone. We need to move you further. I think there it wouldn't get turned off. And then each time something went there, I'd be able to okay. So the counting could actually be done by the Rhenincarpus. Instead of an hourglass, we could just limit how many wool we drop. No, we still need to count, don't we? Because why am I... Now I'm like, why am I thinking about this right now when we still need to figure out the cow farm? Probably because I'm not sure what to do about the cow farm. And the pork chop did despawn. So that seems very flawed to me. I don't really know what to do about that. Yeah. Okay. I was wondering if there were other methods that I could think about. I don't think there are right now. Yeah, that has not made very much because of the slowness that it takes 20 minutes for these animals to grow up. So in that time, I need to be able to make a bunch. That's just a huge amount of breeding stock. What's their breeding cooldown? We know? Is it 5 minutes? Yeah, it's 5 minutes. So even though they take 20 minutes to grow up, I can breed the adults every 5 minutes. And if we were doing 10 gourmies, how long does it take for the gourmet to process a piece of steak? If I were, I know it depends on the mana spreader. Oh boy. I'm not sure where I want to go with this. I do know that this was the problem in my season 1 world. I was constantly out of food for them and had to keep turning it off, and I really would prefer not to do that. Grr. And the foods that we decided on, there's only one that is a bit easier to get because pumpkins grow a little faster than it takes to get the animals. Because pumpkin pie was the other thing we had considered. It's got the same amount of hunger points as steak and pork chops. Grr. Anyone with any inspiring ideas? I'd be open to them right now. I'm having a feeling that I would need... I've got 10 gourmies. Probably 30 steak every 5 minutes. Which would be 60 cows for my breeding stock. That's a lot of cows. So I'm just thinking, if I did, I've got 10 gourmies is what I would like to do. And that would mean 3 every 5 minutes with 3 of something else. I think for 5 minutes, I think that 6 items of food at that hunger stat, I think that's about right. I could start out slow and use a living wood mana spreader because that would take longer to empty the Gormorellus buffer. Which would buy my breeding stock more time for its cooldown. Well, that's not a good timer. We'll try this again. All right, you're empty. You're empty. See, that wasn't even 30 seconds. Which means I could give my Gourmet something every 30 seconds. So I would need 5 steak every 5 minutes, not for 1 Gourmet. So I would need 50 steak for 10. Maybe I won't do 10 Gourmets. Because it's going to be the same amount of time to do pork chops. Okay, that wasn't needed. There we go. Enemy torch. Hopper. Trap chests. Animated torch here. And it should be default to toggle, which means it'll go back and forth between these two. Hourglass. Put it back here. And we'll do 30 seconds. And so I need steak. Pork chops. All right. Okay, what was I? This is just... That's not right, is it? Grr. The reason I have it set that way is because of I use the corporea for that. That's why it only requests 1 at a time. Which I think I'm too far away from here to get the corporea signal. I could try. It is almost time to feed the kitties, which means it'll be the end of our stream for the day, so we're not going to be able to get that done. Why not droppers? Good point. Because I forgot about droppers. See, even 30 seconds is too long. I'm sure there's math you can do if you figure it out. Yeah, you know, I saw that with him using integrated dynamics. I'm like, there are much easier ways to do this, and I completely spaced off droppers. It actually appears that, well, no. 20 seconds is probably just right. So there's 5 pieces of food every minute. That means 25 in 5 minutes, and half of those need to be beef, and half of those need to be pork for this to work. Well, it is going to be it for me today. I do plan on streaming about 3 to 4 hours tomorrow, starting between 9 and 10 as usual. And yeah, we will maybe still poking at this stuff. I'm going to build up the summer rune so that we can start getting a supply of summer runes, and make the auto crafting for the Gormarillus this afternoon between my work that I have to do. So that tomorrow we just need to figure out how to feed the Gormarillus. And yeah, right now I could totally make very low profit foods happen. I could do potatoes, I could do bread, I could do mushroom stew. You know, I could do low profit ones to get it started, but I would like to work towards these. And with that, I am going to go for today. The cats are going bonkers because they've heard the food alarm. And I will see you back here tomorrow, folks. Thanks for hanging out with me. I do appreciate it. Love Botania. It's probably the only thing I'll ever play for the end to the end of time, right? But I'll see you back here tomorrow, folks. Bye.